to merge with a model we have confidence in, rather than one that members are still questioning. Finally, on Councillor Clements, the blank page is page 190. The scrutiny calling guidelines aren't there because they're still the actual work on. Thank you, Mr. Ware. There are areas that need work on, and we ought to be working to get it right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The rationale for these changes has been clearly set out. The critical external reports about the culture, governance and toxic politics of this borough, and the improved report on peer challenge, reinforcing the need for us to tackle these important issues. The changing roles of councils, driven by financial imperatives and government legislation in terms of localism, are also drivers for these challenges, and embracing the new way of facing outward from the town hall into our communities, forging partnerships and plans which will deliver priorities for local people. If we are welcoming external scrutiny and challenge, which clearly on an all-party basis we were, and are committed to change, then clearly we should be taking steps to address these matters in a timely way. I do want to say something about engagement. We have been very keen to ensure, and I personally have, that all members have had the opportunity to shape the future of this council. It is disappointing that at the 5 visioning events, attendance by members opposite has been so poor. We would continue to encourage you to get involved in the debate around these changes. They are going to affect all of us. I do want to thank all those members of the Democracy Working Party, not only for their engagement since I took the chair in December, but for the work they've done prior to that. Clearly, there are differing views about the scrutiny model, and some members who regard the old committee system as the only way to do our business. And although we couldn't reach consensus, we did in fact have a lively debate and the opportunity for cross-party discussion on all of the issues. I did outline to the Democracy Working Party at the December 2012 meeting that I believed events were overtaking us, and the budget challenge, coupled with our improvement work, would mean that we needed to make progress in this year. With regard to the new policy and performance committees, they will in fact be pre-decision scrutiny, which is a real step change in ensuring that members have their say on policy formation, and they will also focus on task and finish work and will make for more inclusive and informed decision making. Their makeup will be determined by the proportionality principle which governs our current committee places. And it is proposed that the first meeting of each committee will receive a presentation from the Strategic Director setting out the key issues for that area of work, together with the risks and performance measures from which plans can be drawn for the focus of the work plan. With regard to the terms of reference for the new committees, we took the view that we would not present such terms to you, as it would not take account of the contributions from the debate this evening. Sadly, Mr. Mayor, they have all been negative contributions from the opposite benches. Nor did we believe it would allow any scope for further cross-party engagement work with members. In particular, we wanted to engage with you in shaping the constituency committees and how they will operate. The constituency committees will not be a one-size-fits-all model, as in this case, each constituency committee will develop its own plan and within parameters to be agreed, the makeup of its committee. However, we will be keen to ensure that the constituency committee's work community managers will be appointed from within the council's current staffing, and other staff will be assigned from the community engagement team staff. Clearly, going forward, we'll need to identify appropriate locations for the constituency committees as the focus of our work shifts to be outward facing into the community. What we are asking Council to do is to agree the broad principles and to seize the opportunity to evolve decision making to our communities based on a partnership approach. 50k this financial year is seed corn money and only our contribution. We expect the partners to bring resources too. And as an example of good practice, Mr Mayor, in this area, at Sunderland Council, who have been running 5 area community committees for several years, they currently devolve £14 million, and this is set to rise to £24 million in the next year to their constituency committees. What we're doing here fits with the present government's approach to enable local authorities to develop their own reforms to public services. Over the past few years, 4 health-based community pilots have run throughout the country.
Excuse me, I was asking a question of the Chief. I don't need to be told to do that.
Very important what you're saying, so like you say,
What I was referring to, Mr Mayor, was the 4 health-based community pilots that have run throughout the country. And in order to spread the learning and best practice from this, a new network is now open for local authorities to bid into. We have made an application to this fund, and the signals from DCLG are that our application is being viewed very positively. This funding will provide capacity to work directly with local areas to co-design practical reforms. The changes on how council will operate will be more focused on the actual work that the council is doing in delivering its service, thus enabling members to challenge the cabinet and the policy and performance committee chairs on their areas of work. Time will be allocated for notices of motion, Mr Mayor, but quite rightly they will be looked at to check if an immediate response and action will be taken on issues of concern. We bring forward these changes, Mr Mayor, to the Constitution to ensure that we become more accountable, open and transparent in our decision-making processes, and we do them because we need to ensure that we are operating in the same way as other councils. So what we do is the norm, and it's not the extraordinary Wirral way of doing things. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Can I say, it's been enlightening, this debate tonight. Well, what I just find profoundly disappointing is the opposition appear clearly unwilling to even give these changes a chance. They've rejected them out of hand before we've even started. And the other thing is,
Mr Mayor, just remind everybody that we all stand for the code of conduct, and that's what everybody must really just.
you've got to, quiet please, you've got to leave it to my discretion. It's on both sides, and we're getting on with it, so we'll just behave on all sides there, and let the leader give it a
thank you for your protection, Mr. Mayor. So, I think it's disappointing that these have all been dismissed without even giving them a chance. The other thing I think is disappointing is the opposition seems to be utterly bereft of any alternative suggestions. We've heard no new ideas, no new suggestions, nothing. Or want to pick up. Mr. Mayor, Councillor Green needs to remember he's not leaving the council. Just want to pick up some points in the amendments. I think the opposition are utterly misunderstood.
Listen, you're going to have to.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
I hate to have to send somebody else, to render my office, but will you all now please be quiet while we hear the leader
these policy and performance committees is to actually enhance scrutiny, to provide more time for scrutiny. The opposition seems to have reached the conclusion that because the actual number of scrutiny committees are being reduced from 6 to 3, that means less time for scrutiny. Nothing could be contrary to the truth, because there is nothing to stop the scrutiny committees, and there are examples in the current arrangements of how this works, for a whole series of focused task and finish groups around particular pieces of work to take place. And indeed, that is the norm in many councils. There are a whole range of pieces of scrutiny work going on. And, can I pay Mark Johnson the compliment? This is exactly, Mark, the lead that you've taken in the scrutiny work you've done on the International Trade Centre, on the bedroom tax, etc. And this is the kind of thing we need to do more of. And this is the model that we are proposing. So it will not mean less scrutiny, it will be more scrutiny. I kind of say, I really do take exception to the allegation that somehow safeguarding in this authority will be diminished as a result of these changes. I mean, that is a real, slur which I really do find very, very, distasteful. And there's just no truth in that criticism whatsoever. Constituency committees, Mr. Mayor, there's no contradiction at all between what the model we're proposing and that detailed neighbourhood working at the sub-constituency level can still go on, and indeed, I would argue, will be enhanced by the presence of neighbourhood officers actually physically based, not in Wallasey Town Hall, but actually in the constituencies that we're talking about. I think it's really, again, another misunderstanding to claim. I heard, during the debate, I heard comments like, this is going to be tyrannical, it's going to be a dictatorship. I mean, if you look at the opportunities in the new constitution for the opposition to hold the administration to account, we've got questions without notice.
Oh, bless you,
I'm trying to make progress, but I keep getting interrupted. Questions without notice of full council for the executive. Indeed, I would argue that this process will make the executive more accountable in a way that we don't do at the moment. Written questions on any matters of council business. Calling will continue on the new policy and performance committees. The enhanced opportunities I mentioned for policy and performance committees to actually get involved in policy formation, not once the Cabinet's made a decision, but right at the start of the process. The power to forward petitions, the members' call for action, which nobody's mentioned tonight, will be available. And notice of motion, there will still be a slot, there will still be a part of the council agenda for notice of motion. And the way this will work, Mr. Mayor, if anyone reads the actual constitution, is that the Mayor and the head of legal service will get together and make a recommendation to the council in conjunction with the member who's moved the notice of motion about whether that motion should be referred to the Cabinet, to a policy committee, or should be debated in full council, and then it'll be a matter for full council to make a decision about what is debated. And of course, we will continue with the leaders' board. So there are 8 opportunities that I've listed in the new constitution for the administration to be challenged by the opposition. So, just to answer Sam Mackey's question, who is driving this agenda? Well, this agenda is being driven by me as the leader and the administration, based on advice from the Local Government Association and good practice in other local authorities, many of which we visited in recent weeks. And I'm sorry that the opposition haven't been able to join us on many of these. Mr. Mayor, can I just say in closing, if the opposition don't decide to engage in this and play politics from the sidelines, I really do think, I'm being this sincere, you'll be letting down the people you represent in a major way. You really will. And so, the choice is yours. You can engage, and I hope you do engage. But one thing I'm going to be very clear about, Mr. Mayor, in closing, that this administration will do everything possible through these changes to move this council forward and to become a high-performing council. I move our resolution and oppose the amendments.
Right, that's the end of the vote. Now we're going to vote. So we're now going to vote on the first amendment, which is Councillor Green's amendment. Looks as if, yes, whether it's... With the 5 members then, I should say. Okay. Right, it's a card vote coming up. Okay? Okay, just settle down now, I'll come out to the card vote. Okay. Again, that's 27, 37. that supported by our individual members? Yeah. Will you, Andrew, have you got that? I mean, all okay. Right, that's the next. Now, Councillor, item number 7, common message required approved by the Council, Cabinet the 14th of March 2013, minute 221. Moved. Agreed. Matters for noting, Cabinet on the 14th of March, minute 125, financial monitoring revenue, and minute 126, financial monitoring capital. I noted. Special Cabinet on the 18th of April, minute 242 and minute 243. Noted? Okay. Vacancies. We seem to have 2 nominations for the vacancy of leasehold community homes. Both nominees still wishing to be forward, right? Okay, in that case, I think the most solicitor advisories vote by hand, is it? Okay. And all votes for. Well, very tight to the point of this, right? Okay. That'll save me a bit of look, you're just wasting your time now. You're wasting your time. We've asked for a comment. The Constitution says they can have it, so they're going to have it, aren't they? We've got 2 candidates from the post on this community homes. So, okay, so which of the candidates you want? You're going to name them by name, okay. So go through the call vote. So whether you want Councillor Blakey or Councillor Salter. Those conversations loud, by the way. Right, we're going to start the alphabetical list now. Blakey or Salter. We might use Councillor Mantley's arithmetic to count the scores. So the first, Councillor Abbey, you said
Councillor Salter.
Salter. Okay, Blakey, your vote.
Myself, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Blakey.
Blakey, second. Okay. Just will you let the process continue now?
Councillor Blakey. Not Blakey. Councillor Bridle. Blakey's away, Phil. Councillor Pence. Councillor Cox. Councillor Blakey. Councillor Patrick. Councillor Salter. Councillor George Davis. Councillor Salter. Councillor Bill Davis. Councillor Salter. Councillor Bill Davis. Councillor Dodd. Councillor John Salter. Councillor Doty. Councillor John Salter. Councillor Elston. Councillor Blake. Councillor Ellis. Councillor Fergus.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Fraser.
Councillor Blakey.
Councillor Bilford. Councillor Glassman.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Green. Councillor Chris Blakey. Councillor Gregson. Councillor John Salter. Councillor Haggart. Councillor Salter. Councillor Hale. Councillor Blakey. Councillor Harley. Councillor Hayes. Councillor Blakey. Councillor Anna Hudson. Councillor Blakey. Councillor Kathy Watson.
Councillor Blakey.
Councillor Hornby. Councillor Blakey. Councillor Johnson. Councillor Adrian Jones.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Christian Jones.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Kearney. Councillor Kelly. Councillor Kelly.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Mooney.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Manley.
Councillor Blakely.
Councillor Muspratt.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Lindlock.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Norbury.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Poole.
Councillor Blakely.
Councillor Reilly.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Rennie.
Councillor Jim.
Councillor Roberts.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Rowlands.
Councillor Blakely.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor John Salter.
Can we just get on with it now?
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Charlie Smith.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Walter.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Stapleton.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Sullivan.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Sykes.
Councillor Blakely.
Councillor Walsh.
Alternatively, Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Watt.
Councillor Blakely.
Councillor Whittingham.
Councillor Salter.
Councillor Irene Williams. Councillor Jane Williams.
Councillor John Salter.
Councillor Pat Williams.
Not Ocean.
Councillor Steve Williams.
Councillor Blakely.
Councillor Jeanette Williams.
Councillor Salter.
Okay. Councillor Salter has been elected 36 to 21 with 8 abstentions. Okay. Right, well, that is the no other business that's been notified to raise. That's the end of the meeting. Just before you dash up though, can I just say again, and this is my final moments in this chair, thank you all for being so wonderful to me, to each other as well, for the year. One or two other wind bears have said to this, chairing the council meeting, as the worst part of the job. But I think it's great fun actually.